Hello, everybody. This is Joe from PrepAgent. We're ready to get going. Good morning, Lupe. ¿Cómo estás? Soy feliz. Tú eres aquí. Listos? Vámonos. Okay, so we are ready to go. Today we're doing contracts. So we're going to start off with what are the 4 essentials of a valid contract? Who knows? What are the 4 essentials of a valid contract? What do you guys think? So we got Erica starting us off with lawful, capable, mutual consent, and consideration. Good. So lawful object, capable parties, mutual consent, consideration. And always remember, mutual consent could also be phrased as agreement or meeting of the minds. Okay? All right. What is a counteroffer? Do you guys know? What is a counteroffer? Who here knows what is a counteroffer? Nice job, Stephen O. A counteroffer is a brand new offer. It's a brand new offer. Okay, as we look at the one on the board here, when a counteroffer is made, A, the original offer cannot amend its terms. B, the original offer becomes a unilateral offer. C, it's considered a partial acceptance of the original offer. D, the offer becomes the offeror. Ooh, it looks like you guys got the full crew this morning. Adrian's here, Arthur's here, and I'm here. The full Monty. Not sure if I used that expression correctly. Okay, and the answer is D. Okay, on a counteroffer, the offeree becomes the offeror. Do we remember our OREE rule? Do you guys remember the OREE rule? What's the OREE rule? Okay, OR is the giver, EE receives. Okay, so remember, lessor, vendor, optionor is give or the proprietor. Lessee, vendee, grantee gives me property, makes me happy. Okay, remember that little ditty, guys, because that'll help you guys pass your exam. OR is the giver, EE receives. Okay, it's a suffix in English. Everybody has to understand it. The one where people get confused, which we talk about a lot, is mortgagor and mortgagee. But we always remember mortgagor is the borrower, and people get that confused. They think they're receiving money, but in reality, the mortgagor is giving what? What do they have to give before they can receive money? Who knows? What must be given in order for them to receive money? What do you guys think? The pledge. Nice job, Erica. That promissory note. We talk about it a lot. So a lot of people get that wrong. Okay, so I said a counteroffer is a brand new offer. So therefore, the way to say it is the offeree becomes the offeror. Right. None of the following would automatically terminate an offer to buy real property except A, rejection of the offer by the offeree, B, an inquiry by the offeree as to whether the offeror will accept different terms, C, rejection of the offer by the offeror, or D, revocation of the offer by the offeree. What do you guys think? All right. And the answer is A, rejection of the offer by the offeree. Okay, rejection just terminates the offer. Don't get too fancy, guys. In a listing, which clause will allow a broker to collect a commission for a specified period of time after the term of the listing has expired? A, protection period clause, B, acceleration clause, C, release clause, or D, delay pay clause? Okay, the answer is A, protection period clause. So, what is that protection period clause? What is that protection period clause? So, the protection period clause is a time period after the listing expires to close deals with people you've been working with during the term of the listing. It is not a time to find new buyers. Okay. So, if you guys find a buyer during the term of the listing and they don't write down the offer, but if they do it after the listing expires, you get paid. Okay, and having Arthur here remind me to ask you guys, are you guys all getting the question of the day? Arthur built that system so we get that question of the day. We spoke about it last week, and some of you weren't getting it yet. So it should all be fixed now. You should all be getting the question of the day. If you guys signed up for that, you can sign up for it through your control panel. Okay, you can get the question of the day. It's a great way to receive questions that keep you on task with your studies. It's very simple. It's not very pitchy or spammy. It's very clean. You get a question. It's just a simple multiple choice question that shows up in your inbox. And it's designed to make sure you guys stay on task with your studies, stay focused, and maybe hits on a concept you otherwise wouldn't understand. But the best part about it, it's kind of like a reminder to study, and it's super easy to unsubscribe. So Arthur designed that. He did a great job. If any of you guys aren't getting that, send us a message and we'll make sure to fix it. All right. Glad you like it, Alessandra. The sewer broker took an open listing. He then made an oral agreement with another broker to share the commission on the property. The second broker procured an offer resulting in the sale of the property. The first broker, A, he need not share the commission as it was an open listing. B, the second broker would stand a good chance of winning a court suit for his share of the commission. C, the second broker could sue the seller for his commission. Or D, he need not share the commission due to the statute of frauds. What do you guys think? The answer is B. The second broker would stand a good chance of winning a court suit for his share of his commission. So a lot of you guys got that right. Why is that? Why is that? What do you guys think? All right, because it's an open listing. Good. It's an open listing. The second broker procured a purchaser. Excellent. And also the oral agreement could be valid. An oral agreement could be valid. Is my connection okay today, guys? If it's not, we could switch to the vocabulary flashcards, which is a little easier to do if my connection's not great. The vocabulary flashcards, then we could pick up the contracts tomorrow. What do you guys think? Is my connection worse than usual? All right, looks like everybody's saying it's okay. All right, moving right along. Which of the following is an acceptable termination date for an enforceable exclusive listing on residential real property? A, 90 days after the listing agreement is signed. B, 90 days from the completion of construction. C, 3 days after notice of rescission of the seller. Or D, whenever the loan is funded. Okay, it's 90 days after the listing agreement is signed. So we're talking about exclusive listings here. So before I get into this, what is a listing? What is a listing? What do you guys think? What is a listing? So a listing is an employment contract. Good job, Monica. It's an employment contract to find a buyer. Good. Employment contract to find a buyer. Listing goes into two categories. What are they? What are the two categories for the listing? So listings go into two categories. What are they? What are the two categories? Nice job, Brandy Judge. You got open and exclusive. You have open listings and you have exclusive listings. There's two types of exclusive listings. What are they? So there are two types of exclusive listings. So the two broader categories are open listings and exclusive listings. There's two types of exclusive listings. So you have exclusive right to sell and exclusive agency. All right. And if this is going too fast for anybody, remember, you could always watch this recording by finding it through your control panel. So you can watch it again. Okay. Now, what is the difference between the exclusive listing and the open listing? What is the difference between exclusive listing and open listing? What is the difference between an exclusive listing and an open listing? So one broker versus multiple brokers. Excuse me, guys. One broker versus multiple brokers. So which of those would need a definite termination date? An open listing or an exclusive listing? Which one needs a definite termination date? An open listing or an exclusive listing? An exclusive listing. Why would an open listing not need a definite termination date? Why would an open listing not need a definite termination date? Because an open listing, if you're not satisfied with your current broker, you could just work with somebody else at any time you want. Whereas an exclusive listing, you cannot work with somebody else until the current contract terminates. Does that make sense? So you're binded to that person, okay, until the designated time is terminated, which is referring to the question here, why you need that definite termination date. Whereas with an open listing, if you're not satisfied with your current broker, you can move on at any moment because you could have more than one broker to work with. Does that make sense? What do you guys think? Hopefully that makes sense for everybody. Okay, hope you guys don't mind me going off the questions a little bit. I like to get a little flow here to explain certain concepts. Remember, the fundamental purpose of these webinars is we want to get a solid foundation. The details of everything really has to be worked out on your own. Going through the questions, learning vocabulary, you guys got to do that on your own. These webinars, we want to lay that foundation so that when you study that other stuff, it makes more sense. It kind of has a little more context to it, a little more structure. Thanks, Matt. Which of the following is created when possession and title do not occur at the same time? A, an interim occupancy agreement. B, a subordination clause. C, a stated sufferance. Or D, a writ of execution. And the answer is interim occupancy agreement. So this occurs when the property sells, but either the seller needs to stay a little time after the deal is closed, or the buyer needs to move in a little earlier. You can work out an agreement to pay them for that time. This is not the same as a sale leaseback. We're not talking about extended periods of time, like months and months on end. We're talking about a few days here. Which of the following statements about an option is false? A, consideration must be given by the optionee to the optionor. B, the optionee binds the optionee to performance. C, the optionee does not have any rights in the land. Or D, a lease option is a unilateral contract. And the answer is the optionee binds the optionee to the performance. Excuse me, the option binds the optionee to the performance. What is the optionee? Or I should say, who is the optionee? Who is the optionee? We kind of alluded to this when we started today's webinar. Who is the optionee? Okay, so they receive. Optionee receives. What are they receiving? So what is the optionee receiving? It's really obvious, guys. I think you're overthinking it. It's kind of like what's in a rum and coke. Rum and coke. So an optionee is receiving an option. Thank you, Erica. All right, they're receiving an option. Okay, what is an option? So an option, by definition, just basic English language here, right, guys? Option just means they don't have to do something, right? You have the option. You could go either way with it. It's a choice. Exactly, Angela. Okay, it's a choice. So when you look at this question, which of the following statement of option is false? When it says the option binds the optionee to the performance, we know that's false because by definition, the option means they're binded to nothing. The other thing here is I see the word a lease option is a unilateral contract. What is the difference between a bilateral contract and a unilateral contract? What is the difference between a bilateral contract and a unilateral contract? All right. So bilateral is two promises. Unilateral is one promise. People often say it's two person versus one person, but all contracts have more than one person. If it was just one person, you wouldn't need a contract at all, right? So it's one promise versus two promises. Can you guys give me an example of a bilateral contract? Can you guys give me an example of a bilateral contract? So, an exclusive right to sell listing. Great job, Andrea. Exclusive right to sell listings is a bilateral contract. Most listing contracts are bilateral. Okay, most of them, not all. Restaurants bilateral. A lease is bilateral. Good. Can you guys give me an example of a unilateral contract? Can you guys give me an example of a unilateral contract? Lost dog sign. Good job. Find Muffy, pay $500. You don't have to go look for Muffy, but if you find Muffy, you're owed $500. An open listing. Okay, good. And on the board, a lease option is a unilateral contract. It says on the board. Good. An option A requires the optionee to complete the purchase. B gives the buyer a lien on the property. C results in a commission to the broker if the optionee does not exercise the option. Or D keeps an offer open for a specified period of time. What do you guys think? Keeps it open for a specified period of time. Good. A safety clause is found in A listing agreement, B loan broker statement, C lease, or D deposit receipt. Okay, the answer is listing agreement. Went off. This is the same as a protection period clause. A safety clause and protection period clause would be one and the same. We went over this before. This is that thing where if you find a buyer during the term of the listing and they don't write an offer during the term, but if they write it after the listing expires, you could get paid your commission. And that time is usually around 2 weeks, but it's all as everything else, it's negotiable. The contract, which according to the statute of frauds must be in writing in order to maintain a court action for enforcement, is a bill of sale on real property, B, the employment of a broker to exchange leases on properties zoned for retail, C, the employment of a business opportunity to sell stock, or D, an agreement which is not to be performed within 1 year. And the answer is D, any agreement which is not to be performed within 1 year. Okay, so the statute of frauds and statute of limitations stuff brings up an interesting concept. I'm going to ask you guys a question. And my question is, what is the difference between an unenforceable contract and a void contract? What is the difference between an unenforceable contract and a void contract? This is a tough question. You guys agree? Tough question? What do you think? Who's had trouble with that question before? Who's gotten confused with those two concepts before? What is the difference between an unenforceable contract and a void contract? Seems like Lupe and Andrea are on point with this. Okay, so here's the difference. A void contract is lacking one of the four essential elements of a contract. Okay? Do you guys remember when we wrote those four essential elements of a void contract? Mutual consent, consideration, lawful object, and capable parties. A void contract is lacking one of those elements. All right, everybody with me? An unenforceable contract has those four elements, but for one reason or another, it is not enforceable, such as it needs to be in writing and it's not. It needs to be done with a certain amount of time, but it's not. It has something that makes it unenforceable, but yet it still has those four essential elements. Brandy Judge, you nailed it. Perfect. Unenforceable isn't in writing and should be. That's an example of it. Okay, so Erica, what about when it comes to a minor? Lacks capable parties, but only voidable. That's a tricky one, Erica. That's different than the unenforceable, enforceable concept. That's a tricky one, but you're right. That is voidable because they have the option to ratify the contract when they turn 18. But you want to look more detail with that one. That is a tricky one. But it is true when it's a minor, the contract's voidable, not void. It's because they have the option to ratify the contract. They could get emancipated or things of that nature. If a person obtains a contract through duress, that contract is A, unenforceable, B, void, C, valid, D, voidable. Okay, and the answer is voidable. Good. So the moment you see the word threat or duress or pressure, anything that alludes to pushing somebody to do what they don't want to do, you must circle voidable. Everybody got it? The answer is voidable. To assign a contract for the real estate, to assign a contract for the sale of real estate means to A, allow the seller and buyer to exchange positions. B, record the contract with the county recorder's office. C, permit another broker to act as an agent for the principal. Or D, transfers one's rights under the contract. And you guys got any questions for Arthur? I think he's on the line now. He handles all the technical things. He adds new features. He does the design of the website. All those little things like be able to save the questions to review or having keywords highlighted or the layout or the question of the day. That's all him. So if you guys got any questions about that, ask away. I think he does a great job. Hopefully, you guys believe so too. I believe you guys do think that. If you have any questions, it's a good time to ask. Or give your feedback. Feedback's a better way to say it. Give your feedback. Jillian says, can you add me to the question of the day? I think Adrian could do that. Adrian, can you add Jillian? So if you guys got any feedback, let us know. So I take it this means, excuse me, I take it means you guys like the question of the day. I see a lot of people wanting to be added to the question of the day. So really happy you guys like that. We just started that, and it seems like it's going pretty well. And as always, we always want your guys' feedback because we make this for you guys. See that, Arthur? That was your idea, and it's a good one. They love it. Okay, a property owner lists his property for sale with a broker. During the negotiations, the owner told the broker that the owner wanted $138,000 for the property, and anything above that amount, the broker could keep as his commission. The listing with this type of provision is known as the A, non-exclusive listing, B, a gross listing, C, an open listing, or D, a net listing. Janae, no, it's different. The question of the day is not the same as the one on Instagram. They pull from different sources, so those are different questions. So Brian says, is net listing illegal in all states? No, it is not. It is illegal in most states, Brian, but it's definitely frowned upon in all states. Whether it's legal or not, it is a horrible idea to do. Okay, so you guys don't know why it's frowned upon or illegal in your states. It's because there's a conflict of interest there. The premise is if a property is listed for 500 grand and you bring an offer 550, you get 50 grand. Great, you got incentive to bring the highest offer possible because you get more money. The problem comes in if you bring an offer 500 grand or less, then you could potentially get nothing. The seller could decide to give you nothing. And therein lies the conflict of interest because you're bringing an offer that's satisfactory to the seller, but you'll get nothing. So in that case, you may not want to bring it to them. So there's a conflict of interest. That's why many states have it as illegal or it's frowned upon. Undue influence or duress applied to one party to a contract makes the contract A, invalid, B, unenforceable, C, voidable, or D, void. And the answer is C, voidable. Oscar's a tenant and agrees to perform certain repairs for Joe, who is the owner. Despite repeated promises, Oscar fails to perform the repairs. Joe then writes up a contract and compels Oscar to sign it by threatening to evict him if he does not. Such a contract would be A, voidable, B, enforceable, C, void, or D, illegal. Can we see the word threat? So then the answer is voidable. Remember, whenever we see that word threat, it's voidable. All right, guys, that's it for today. Tomorrow will be here at the same time. I hope you guys have a great day, and I will talk to you soon. It's Joe from PrepAgent, with Arthur and Adrian. So I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a great day. Adios, Lupe. Buen día para ti también. Nos vemos mañana. Ciao. Okay, bye, everybody. Who's impressed I can speak Spanish? Anybody? 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 How many guys are surprised? Who's surprised? Who's surprised? All right. Talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.